I am heartbroken. I am upset. I am not sure how I am going to do this here the rest of the season without Soul. He, pun intended, was the soul of my loving of Survivor 47. And to see him blindsided this episode, I wasn't ready for it. I was in denial of it. I was so certain somebody else would go home, but instead, we lost Soul. But this video isn't about Soul anymore. This video is about the final 9 people in Survivor 47 and which ones are the contenders and which ones are the pretenders. That's right, 9 people left. A very fun episode tonight. Just going over, I hate the fact we still gotta do this stupid lose a vote challenge and the multiple tier immunity challenge type stuff. Get back to regular Survivor, because like today showed, regular Survivor gives us fun. It gives us fun dynamics to see who's gonna go home. It gives us fun tribal councils where people are trying last second to get the vote on other people. And it gives us raw blindsides. And that's what the show is about. It's not about who can play reverse Jenga the best. It's not about all of that. That's my mini review of the episode, is everything after them getting back from the immunity challenge and the losing of the vote challenge, where it was just talking about the vote, was great. But everything else is just new era bad Survivor. But let's talk about contender or pretender. And the first one we're going to do alphabetical order-wise is Andy. And for me, as much as I am enjoying Andy having more say in this game, he is very much a pretender. I don't see Andy being somebody who's going to make a play for the end. I think he's been shown way too many weaknesses. That could be a fun story in different ways, but I just don't see him having that winner's edit and being able to make his way to the end. There's so many people he'll have to get through that I think are strong social players that would have big jury threatness for him to win, and I just don't see Andy winning, and it's why I'm giving Andy the unfortunate pretender status here for the rest of this game. I will enjoy him the rest of the way, but his chances of winning are slim to none. Next up in alphabetical order, Caroline. Caroline, contender. She's still very much being, edited in the episode for saying things and wanting things in a way where I just feel like she's only getting this edit because I think she is going to be a winner. I don't see anybody targeting at her soon, and she's just very well thought, very well spoken, and I see her in a final tribal council doing very well. I think she's well insulated with Gabe, Kyle, Sue, that by the time all of the pieces around her are off, I think she's going to be sitting pretty without a doubt in that final tribal with a great chance at winning this game. Caroline is a contender. Next up, Gabe. Gabe probably would have gone home tonight if he did not win immunity. Kyle was ready for him to go. Sam was ready for him to go. I think there's a lot of people who understand that Gabe is close with Sue and with Caroline, and he's being seen as a guy threat that once he is invulnerable, I think Gabe is likely to go here. So he's getting the pretender status. I don't see any way, shape, or form that Gabe here is going to be able to win this game. Maybe he'll go on a little bit of immunity one. Maybe he'll make it far. Maybe somebody like Kyle, Andy, and others will be and Sam will be a little bit shields for him. But I have a hard time seeing him getting to the end and people wanting to vote for him in the end. That's why I'm having Gabe in my pretender status. Next up, another G name, Genevieve. And after tonight, I'm buying into the idea, okay? You guys have me. Genevieve is a contender. She was the one who orchestrated and put together, at least in terms of the show edit, the Soul blindside. And even though it got out of hand a little bit, it still ended up being everybody besides Teeny voting for Soul. She clearly is making moves in this game and is trying to see this game in different ways. I do worry, though, Soul is somebody who wasn't going to go to Genevieve anytime soon. And did she just, out herself as a little bit too dangerous of a player who could be going in these next few rounds. What I will say, though, is Genevieve makes the end. I think there's going to be a giant easy pitch for her on why she should win this game. And that's my main reasoning why she is in the contender status. She's been very involved in these votes. We've seen a lot of her discussion and her point of view on the game, and she's gotten a lot of stuff to work correctly for her in these votes. So Genevieve is a pure contender, and it's time for me to eat the crow and stop saying that this episode would have been the Genevieve episode. It was the Soul episode because of Genevieve. And even though I may never forgive her in my heart, I gotta tip my hat because I have to recognize the gameplay there of a contender. I swear I'm not doing this in terms of contender pretender because next up is Kyle. And we all know Kyle's a dead man walking here. He's a clear pretender. And it's not because I don't think I like Kyle that much, but where does he have the move in this game? He doesn't really have any allies outside of his crew. And like we saw the night with Caroline, they're going to be more than happy to get rid of Kyle here, I think, sometime soon. He's clearly the bottom of his 4-person group, and he's surprisingly made it past this immunity challenge where he lost to Gabe. He has a very likable story. He's somebody who they're going to see as an immunity threat. So, again, Kyle to me is just a dead man walking in terms of getting that much further. He's at the whim of everybody else this season, and I don't see a world where he even gets close to that final 3. So that's why I'm giving Kyle the good old-fashioned pretender status, because he has no chance to win this game. But the longer he stays on, the more I appreciate him being on screen. Next up is Rachel. Contender. We saw a brilliant reason why she didn't play her idol last episode and why she did the shot in dark. She has the idol in hand. She saw there was no way to really save Soul tonight and decided that, hey, since we can't save Soul, we have to vote against him out, and did that perfectly fine. She was a little bit squeaky with the whole entire Sam angle, but if anybody's going to be the heat coming back for the Soul move, I think it's going to be Genevieve. I don't think it'll be Rachel as much. I think she's in a decent enough spot. I see the through line that she may win this game, and I can see that in different ways. She's probably the least likely contender to win that I have in this contender group, but I 100% see Rachel as a clear contender this season. And I think this is going to be kind of a trend that we'll see here in this video, because next up is Sam. And Sam is a pretender. Sam survived this episode. Sam is at the whim of a lot of other people, and I don't see him making the connections well enough and have the social capital well enough to turn this around and have him win this game. Again, he's kind of like Kyle and Gabe, maybe more so like Kyle than Gabe. He doesn't have that much long left in this world. He seemed to be at least on the right side of the vote tonight. But he was dead set on going after Sue, and I think it really should have just been Kyle. I think if they agreed on Kyle, maybe his plan to get Soul would go out tonight, but he doesn't have an idol. He doesn't really have any allies. Andy's not looking out for him all that much. Rachel's kind of not looking out for him all that much. He's going to be an easy piece chiseled off here in the next few weeks. And in Survivor, when it gets down to the final 9, that's the exact thing that makes you a pretender. Sue. Contender. Sue, I am buying into the idea more. I thought she might have been going tonight when she didn't play her idol, but she has her idol. I think Gabe and Kyle are her chisel points. I don't know if people view her as the physical threat that she might be, and there's a chance that by the time that Sue gets down towards Final 5, Final 6, she, and if all the big guys are out, she might be the biggest challenge threat left of all the women, and if that's the case, she could just comp her way out to the end, and who knows if she plays her cards right, if she's very forthright, if people on the jury like her. I see a world where Sue can win, especially with that idol. If she's able to make a very flashy idol play that people, like and respect in the jury, there is a path to where Sue can win this game, and it's kind of a reason why I find her being a contender overall. I'm very surprised every week by Sue, and again, I'm surprised she didn't play her idol tonight. I was wondering if they were all jockeying that way. I wonder if they knew that Sue had an idol, and they were trying to get her to flush it. But either way, she stays safe. She has her idol. She was kind of a target tonight, but I do think she has more juicy shields around her these next few votes in the men in this game. As well as I think Genevieve, I think, is another person who could be a juicy target. Her issue, though, is making that final 3 to win this game. And finally, our final 9th person is Teeny. And Teeny's still a contender. She didn't get her way tonight with Soul, and that very much hurts her game. But I think with Teeny realizing she's at the bottom, I think she's going to play a lot smarter in this game. I think she'll realize who kind of the threatening type people are. And I think it's very easy to point out Genevieve as somebody who, hey, she concocted this whole plan. She did the same thing to Keyshawn earlier this season too. And I think she can kind of take Genevieve's spot underneath her. I don't think she's seen as a physical threat. I don't think she's seen as too much of a social strategy threat, even though she should be. She very much is disarming the people when she has conversations with them. And there's so many other bigger targets in this game. It's just going to allow Teeny's social game to stay entrenched and build roots here for the rest of the season, and into a way where if she makes Final 3, that she might just win a social type game, akin to maybe a Gabler during his season. Now, Gabler did have a flashy move, and he did have a lot of say on who went home or knew about who went home. Teeny is a little bit lacking that at the moment, but she has a lot of time to make her way through, and she could be also like a Marianne winner if she's able to kind of come from the bottom up to the top. I can see that world coming for her for Teeny, which means all the women in this game are contenders, and all the men in this game are pretenders. So according to me, a woman is winning Survivor 47, and they're the only contenders for us to watch out for. Things may change with that, but that's how I just see the season playing out and where everybody's at. I'm riding very hard on Caroline is my top pick to win. But after tonight, I think Genevieve is taking a number 2 spot. I think Sue and Teeny are fighting over that number 3 spot. But most of all, what happened tonight to Soul hurts my heart. And I'm just not even sure how to deal with this loss. But like every other episode this recap this year, we leave it off with remembering the fallen player in Survivor 47. And this time, it's Soul.